Hi friends, welcome back. So we are dealing with a new topic under economics. Can you recall what you learned yesterday or what you listened yesterday? We talked about the factors of production, the four factors that are required for producing a thing. Can you say what are they? First one is the land, second one is labor, third one is physical capital, or fourth one is the human capital. So these are the four things that are required in order to complete the production of a thing as good. So today we shall study one by one about these four factors of production. Let us see them one by one and let us see what is the importance of each factors of production. What role are they playing in production of things? And can we produce something without a factor? Can we avoid something, or is something that is unimportant? Let us try to find out whether it is possible to produce something or to avoid something without avoid something and produce a thing. Let us see. First, let us see about the land. You know, the land is fixed. First one is land is fixed. You know, the land is fixed. Farming is the main production activity in Palampur. So we said in Palampur, 80% of the people have got lot of land, and the rest of the 20% of people have got very little land, and everybody's main work is farming. 75% of the people who are working are dependent on farming for their livelihood. So out of this total population, we said there are around 450 families. So out of these 450 families, if you take the population, 75% of the people, they are depending on farming for their livelihood. That means they have no other work. They are doing only this farming work, cultivating, harvesting, and with that they are managing their life. They are managing their food activities. So that is the main activity of the people in Palampur village. And they could be farmers or farm laborers. So some people are farmers, that means they cultivate in their own farm, and some are farm laborers, that means they don't have their own land or they have very little land. If they cultivate in that little land, it will not be sufficient for them to survive for the whole year. So what do? They go and work in others' field for wages, and they get the money, they get their wages, and with that money they manage their daily affairs. So either they work in their own farms or they go and work in others' farms. That is how the people of Palampur survive. But remember that there is a basic constraint in raising farm production. So you know, if you want to produce more things from the farm, there is some problem. What is that? Land area under cultivation is practically fixed. Since 1960 in Palampur, there has been no expansion of land area under cultivation. So we know the land is fixed. There is no expansion. If you want to expand, we have to encroach into forests and other things. That is not allowed, because forests are also required for the keeping up the ecosystem balance. Therefore, we cannot encroach. So the area of land is fixed. That is why the topic says the land is fixed. So the land is fixed. If we have more land, then we can produce more. But the amount of land or the area of land remains the same. So how can we improve our production, or how can we produce more? That is what we are thinking and finding out. So by then, some of the wastelands in the village had been converted to cultivate land. So there were some wastelands, which was not forest but wasteland. People thought that it is a waste and this area is not good, maybe always lagging water, maybe always throwing waste waste there. So a lot of chemicals and other things are there. The soil may not be very good. So people had abandoned that land. So that one people cleaned it and took it as a farmland. That was one possibility. So wasteland was converted to cultivable land. And there exists no further scope to increase farm production by bringing new land under cultivation. So that was the only thing they could do, convert some wasteland into cultivable land, and there is no other way to get more land. So the standard unit of measuring land is hectare. You can underline what is the standard unit of measuring land. So when we talk about how much land we have, we will say I have 1 hectare of land, or I have half hectare of land, or I have 5 hectares of land like that. So hectare is the unit of land. You can underline hectare. What is spelling hectare? H-E-C-T-A-R-E, hectare. That is called hectare, unit of land. It is a unit. So villages, they have a limited area, limited land, and within that limited land they have to manage producing things that can sustain them throughout the year. Otherwise, after 6 months or 9 months, they will have no more food and they will be starving. So that should not happen. There should be enough food for them for the whole year. Though the villages you may find land area being discussed in local units such as Biga, Viniha, etc. 1 hectare equals the area of square with the one side measuring 100 meters. So, can you compare the area of a 1 hectare field with the area of a school ground? So, what is the size of hectare? It will be a square land. It will be square, all the 4 sides will be equal, and one side will be how many meters? 100 meters. So it will be 100 meter, this one will be 100 meter, here will be 100, here will be 100. So all the sides will be 100. A square area, it is called 1 hectare, that is called 100 meter square. And that is about the land. So nobody can increase the land. Whatever land is there, if it is a wasteland, then we can convert into cultivable land. But we cannot encroach into forest land or the other things. That is not possible. And we can only make use, or we can only plan out how can I produce more food items, more grain in the land that is available for me, the limited land that is available for me. How can I produce the better food or more food? That is how I have to plan it out. Then we come about a second point. Is there a way one can grow more from the same land? So we say land is fixed. Then we have to ask, I have only this much area of land. What can I do? This food is not enough for me. I am not able to produce enough food from this land that is given to me. Can I use some methods, or can it be possible for me to produce more food that will support my family, that will be able to sustain my family throughout the year? So I have to think, I have to plan out. Then we will find some methods. Let us see how the people in Palampur village found out the methods. So with the kind of crops grown and facilities available, Palampur would resemble a village on the western part of the state of Uttar Pradesh. So we can say this village, Palampur village, is something like a village in Uttar Pradesh. All land is cultivated in Palampur. No land is left idle. So they cultivate maximum. They don't leave anything free. They are making it completely use, maximum use. They don't leave it any piece of land idle. Idle means waste. They are not wasting any land. During the rainy season, that is Kharif season, where the Kharif crops are planted. So what do they do during the rainy season? Farmers grow jowar and bajra. So two types of agricultural things or plants they cultivate during those days is, what are they? Bajra and jowar. So these two are what kind of products? They are kharif products. And these plants are used as cattle feed. It is followed by cultivation of potato between October and December. So first they will plant these jowar and bajra, and they are used for cattle feed, for feeding the cattle. So every farmer will have plenty of cattle, bulls and buffaloes and cows and so on. And their dung also will become fertile manure for to be used in the farm. So they will have a lot of cattle and they need to provide food for the cattle. So during rainy season they cultivate this bajra and jowar as a cattle feed. Cattle feed means cattle food for the animals. Then after that they will plant potato. So between October to December season they will plant potato. And in the winter season they will plant another type of crops called rabi crops. And fields are sown with wheat. So in the winter season, after plucking the potatoes, they will sow wheat seeds. Then from the wheat produce, farmers keep enough wheat for the family's consumption and sell the surplus wheat at the market at Raigans. So if they cultivate more wheat, they will keep what is sufficient for them to use for 1 year. Then whatever is extra, they will go and sell it in the market so that they can get some extra money for managing other things. And a part of the land area is also devoted to sugarcane, which is harvested once every year. And some area they plant sugarcane. So sugarcane needs 1 year in order to do the harvesting. So the area that is not cultivated, other things they will keep for this sugarcane, and every year they will do the harvesting. And sugarcane in its raw form or as jaggery is sold to traders in Shahpur. So with this sugarcane they can go and sell it in the market, the nearby town Shahpur, or they can from sugarcane they can convert it into, or they can produce something called jaggery or gur. They can produce it, then they can go and sell it in the market. So that is a kind of production in the village that they are doing. So what are the things, or how are the people managing the land? First they plant this jowar and bajra, which is used as a cattle feed. After harvesting that they plant potatoes, and after harvesting the potatoes they plant wheat. And if there is plenty of wheat, if they have good harvest, then the extra that comes more than what they require, if it is there, they will go and sell it in the market. Then some area of their garden is also used for planting sugarcane, and when sugarcane is harvested at the end of the year, either they can go and sell it in the market, or they can produce jaggery, and that jaggery they can go and sell it in the market. So that is how the people manage in that village. Then the main reason why farmers are able to grow 3 different crops in a year in Palampur is due to the well-developed system of irrigation. So we see the people are not leaving the land free at all. Throughout the year, all the 12 months, the land is occupied. First with the cattle feed, then with potato, then with wheat, and some places sugarcane. So throughout the year, all the 12 months, something is growing in their land always. So we know in order to grow something we need water, and throughout the year we are not getting water. We get rain only 4 months or 5 months and so on. So the rest of the time, how are they cultivating? How are they able to manage, or how are they able to grow the vegetables? Let us see how. It is because of irrigation. They have a very good system of irrigation. So in order the farm activity should be successful, what we need is irrigation. If that irrigation, that means providing water supply, supplying water to the field, to the farm. So if that water supply is not there, we will be able to cultivate only during the monsoon season when the rain is available. Once rain is no more available, then the farmers will be unemployed. They will have to sit at home doing nothing. But here, if that water facility is there, irrigation facility is there, then we are able to cultivate throughout the year. And the people are able to go on doing the work, and they are not wasting their time. So that becomes useful. So the people of Palampur also is able to work throughout the year because there is water supply, irrigation facility is there. Then electricity came early to Palampur, and one of the reasons why they are able to do this irrigation is electricity is there. With the electricity they can pump out water from the wells, from the rivers and so on. So it is because of electricity they are able to think about irrigation facilities. And its major impact was to transform the system of irrigation. Persian wheels were till then used by farmers to draw water from the wells and irrigate small fields. So before the electricity came into that village, how did the people manage to irrigate the farm? There was a Persian well, Persian wheel. You must have seen how people are drawing water from the well. They will tie one bucket, attach a rope to that bucket. Then there is a pulley. It is called pulley. So they will put rope on that pulley and they will draw water with the hand manually. So they cannot do that. It is very slow and it is very tiresome, and they are not able to do much work. They are able to small field. They are able to irrigate that way. But after coming of the electricity, they are able to keep electric motor and they can pump out water very fast. With the high speed pumps, we can pump out water, and large areas of field we can irrigate. That is how people were doing it. Then and people saw that the electric run tubers could irrigate much large areas of land more effectively. And the first few tubers were installed by the government. Soon, however, farmers started setting up private tubers. As a result, by mid-1970s, the entire cultivated area of 200 hectares was irrigated. So, once the people realized that electric pumps can supply water much faster to large areas of field, and they are able to implement by themselves. First, one or two tubewells were installed by the government. Government came with the machine and dug the tubewell and fixed the water and so on. And they saw it is so effective. And the people who are taking water from there, they are able to cultivate much more larger areas. So people got interested and they began to make tubewell by themselves. They are not waiting for government to come and make. They themselves took initiative and they dug the tubewell and they fixed water there, and they are able to irrigate more areas in that area, in that place. So that way people learn to cultivate their area throughout the year. Even if there is no rain, they pump water from the well and try to make it water available for the fields. And not all villages in India have such high levels of irrigation. And if you go through the different villages in India, especially the dry places, we know this electricity is not available everywhere, and therefore they cannot think about pumping water with electricity. They cannot think about tube well and so on. So every village in India is not facilitated like Palampur. Then apart from the riverine plains, so there are riverine plains. Riverine plains means a plain area that is near the river, along the river. So coastal regions in our country are well irrigated. So the plain area that is near the river, that is called riverine plains, and also the coastal plains. The coastal plain means the plain area that is near the coast, near the sea. So the area that is there near the sea, and the area that is near the river, and so they can easily get water from the sea or from the river. They can irrigate that field very well. But the fields that are far away from the coastal area or from the river side, then for them it is very difficult to get the water for irrigation. So plateau regions such as Deccan Plateau have low levels of irrigation. So the field in the Deccan Plateau, that is away from the coastal region, there are no rivers flowing nearby. So for them it is very difficult to find water for irrigation. There is no irrigation facilities for those farmers. And of the total cultivated area in the country, a little less than 40% is irrigated even today. So if you take all the farmland in our country, how much land is able to get that irrigation facility? Only just 40%. So 40% is with water. Then another 60% they don't have water facility, they don't have irrigation facility. That's why we can imagine the farmers who are cultivating in this 40%, they have got better facility. They will be able to cultivate throughout the year and they will be able to produce better things. But other farmers who are cultivating here, 60% of the land in India, they have no water facility, therefore they cannot think about cultivating throughout the year. They will be cultivating only for few months, when especially during the monsoon rain season. Other times all they will be sitting simply without any work. They are not able to carry on any farm work during that time. And to grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the year is known as multiple cropping. You can underline. To grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the year is known as multiple cropping. That is what we learned from the farmers of Palampur. They cultivate throughout the year. In the same place they cultivate 3 times. First they plant cattle feed, then they plant potato, then they plant wheat. So in the same place they are cultivating same different things. That is called multiple cropping. If you plant in a land sugarcane, can we call it multiple cropping? No, because sugarcane takes 1 year to get matured. So we'll be able to harvest only at the end of the year. So between that we are not able to plant anything. Only sugarcane will be there. But other plants, other places where we are planting other things one by one, that is called multiple cropping. Because after harvest, one thing does not need more than 3 months or 4 months. After that we pluck it away, then we plant another thing. Then after 3-4 months we pluck it away and then we plant another thing. So in the same place we go on planting different items one after another. That is called multiple cropping. So underline it nicely, learn it. Sometime for exam they will ask, what do you mean by multiple cropping, or what do you understand by multiple cropping? And the people of Palampur is an example. They were able to do the multiple cropping. What is the reason behind? Because of irrigation facility. They are able to get irrigation facility because of the presence of electricity, availability of electricity, and because of the presence of 2 wells. They were able to irrigate it, and that is why throughout the year they are able to cultivate. And it is the most common way of increasing production on a given piece of land. So in the beginning we asked, the land is fixed, therefore is there any method that we can increase our production without increasing the land? Land is fixed and we cannot think about increasing the land. So without increasing the land, having the same area of land, can we produce more? That was the question that we asked, whether it is possible or not. Let us see. We said it is possible provided there is irrigation facility. If water is available, then we can cultivate many times or many crops on the same place and we can increase our production. And all farmers of Palampur grow at least 2 main crops. Many are growing potato as the third crop in the past 15 to 20 years. So the people of Palampur is doing that. They cultivate two crops or three crops. So throughout the year their land is occupied and they are able to produce many things, and that way they are able to feed themselves, meet all the needs of the people. So you can see in your picture different types of crops are given there. You can see in your own picture. First one, there is wheat, then there is bajra, then there is sugarcane, then there is potato. So different types of crops are planted there. So there is a table given in the next page, that is table 1.1, shows the land under cultivation in India in units of million hectares, and plot this on the graph provided. What does the graph show? Discuss in the class. So you can see in your picture there is given in 1950 how much of land was under cultivation. 120 million hectare was there. Then after 10 years in 1960 it was increased. More area was occupied for cultivation. It became 130 million hectares. Then again after 10 years it was increased more. It was another 10 million hectares were increased. It was made to 140 million hectares. Then the coming years it is remaining same. There is no more land for increasing. After 1970 we find the land is maximum use. Again there is no more land for changing into cultivation area. Therefore it is remaining the same. And we can draw map. It is a assignment for you. Draw in your notebook this chart, and the first one is done for you. In 1950, 120 hectares. So 160 it will be 130. It should go one more up. Then 170 it will be 140, touching this line. Then all the rest will be remaining the same. So draw it in your notebook and take photo and send to me in my WhatsApp number. Okay. So few questions are there asked. You have to give the answer. Is it important to increase the area under irrigation? So the question, is it important to increase the area under irrigation? So we have two types of land we said. 40% of land is under irrigation and 60% of land is under non-irrigation. So is it important to increase? This 40% do we need to increase, make it higher and higher and reduce here? Is it important? Why? It is important because if we can convert this 60% of land also into this group, irrigation category, then that farmers also will be able to cultivate throughout the year and they are able to produce more. And you have read about the crops grown in Palampur. Fill the following table based on the information on the crops grown in your region. So there is a column is given there. You can speak about your own villages. What are the things that are planted in your garden, in your farm? You can write the name of the crop. If it is paddy, write paddy, or rice, or potato means potato, or any other things. Pumpkin means pumpkin, or mustard means mustard. Then which month it is sown and which month is the harvest, and how do we get the irrigation, how do we get the water for these plants? Is it getting by the rain, that is monsoon, or it is taking water from the tank or from the tube well, or are you getting from canals, coming from other sources, and so on. So all this based on your own village. You cannot simply write anything. If it is there available in your village, you think and write. Then you have seen that one way of increasing production from the same land is by multiple cropping, and the other way is to use modern farming methods for higher yields. So one way of increasing production from the same field is by multiple cropping. We can plant several times in a year in the same piece of land, provided there is irrigation. And second way of, so first one is irrigation. We already said irrigation. Then second one is by using modern methods. By using modern methods. So we have to use modern method of farming, then the production will increase. Most of the farmers are using their traditional methods, but there are, if they convert into modern method, then they will be able to produce more from the same field. Let us see how. The other way is to modern farming methods for higher yield. Yield is measured as crop produced on a given piece of land during a single season. So, how will they know, or how can we know whether we are producing more or not? We have to see a piece of land is given to the farmer, and from that field, how much the farmer is able to produce in a year. Not after many years, but every year. This year, how much he is able to produce. Next year, how much he is able to produce. Accordingly, they can say that is the yield. How much is the yield? Until the mid 1960s, the seeds used in cultivation were traditional ones with relatively low yields. Traditional seeds needed less irrigation. Farmers used cow dung and other natural manure as fertilizers, and all these were readily available with the farmers who did not have to buy them. So till 1960 in our country, how did the farmers do the farming? They used the local seeds. What is the advantage of using this local seed is they don't need much water, because till 1960 there was no much facility of irrigation, and therefore farmers were choosing the local seed which does not require much water for the growth, and they were using the manures, that is the cow dung that is available, and so on. So they were not thinking about something better quality one, because they were not able to do, the facility was not there. So the 1960 there came the Green Revolution. In 1960 what happened? The Green Revolution. You might have heard about Green Revolution during the 1960s. So government realized so much of farmers are there in our country, so much of land is under farming cultivation, but the food is not enough for all the people of our country. People are still starving. What could be the reason? What could be the reason why people are not able to get this sufficient food after all this cultivation? Most of the people in India were farmers, still the food is not sufficient for the people. Most of them are starving. So what could be the reason? So government learned about it, studied about it, and introduced something new method. They realized the farmers are using old method. They are using the old technique. That is why there is no enough improvement of production. So we need to improve our production. We need to use better things. Then we will be able to get good products. We will be able to get good harvest, and that will satisfy all the people's needs. So government introduced the system called Green Revolution. So green is symbolizing the field. The field is green when we are cultivating, isn't it? So there should be a revolution. We have to change our method. So long we were using only old method, traditional method. We have to change that, and we have to improve. Then we will have a better result. So government introduced the Green Revolution. So in that, the government changed all that old method and introduced new method. Instead of using traditional seed, government gave them very good type of seed, which is called high yielding variety of seed. If they use that seed, it will produce more. If they are using high yielding variety of seed, paddy seed, it will produce more. The harvest will be more. So it is called high yielding variety. HYV, high yielding variety of seeds. That was one method. Then government also promised them to give different fertilizers in order to improve the quality of the soil. A lot of fertilizers were produced and given to the farmers. Then when there is some worms and other things attack this, to kill them, the pesticides and other things government provided. So government gave all these things. Then in order to plow the field, government gave tractors and other facilities. So modern methods were introduced and the green revolution was a success. Suddenly the production of the farmers increased. The field became very fruitful and the good harvest, everyone got good harvest, and the food scarcity in our country was reduced and removed, and therefore green revolution was a very successful one. And that is how the farmers in India, or the people in India, they were able to be self-sufficient in food matters. So we did not have to starve, or we did not have to buy from other countries. We were able to produce in our own country by using this better method. So there was a revolution needed. We have to think differently, change into different things, then produce the good harvest, and people were able to be successful because of the initiative of the government. So we will study in the next class little more elaborately about green revolution and how the change came about, how the people's mindset, people thinking and capacity was changed, and better facilities were provided, and people responded to the initiative of the government, and they were very successful. So let us see you again in the next class, and until then, bye. Have a nice day.